ॐ दक्षिणास्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So in the last session we saw the 7th verse, of course the 5th, 6th and 7th verses, and today we'll be completing the Dakshinamurti stotram. And I think I'll very briefly summarize what we saw in the 7th verse in the last session. The 7th verse said, Balyadishvapi jagridadishu tatha sarvasvavasthasvapi vyavrittasvanuvartamanamahamityantah sada स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजतां यो मुद्रया भद्रया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये. So what is said here is that the different stages of the body mind sense complex are mutually exclusive states. The mind or the jiva is constantly moving from the Jagrit Avastha to Swapna Avastha to Sushupti Avastha. At the same time, the body is aging and going through the vikaras of Balya, Yavana, then the adulthood, then Jara, Roga, Mrityu, all these changes, vikaritvam, are happening at the level of the body. So the body goes through its own changes and the mind goes through its own avasthas of Jagrit, Swapna, Sushupti avastha. So we can say the jiva, from the point of view of the body mind sense complex, goes through various anatomical and physiological changes. And these changes come and go. When one is going on, the other is not there. Therefore, it is called as the Vyavrittasu Avasthasu. Vyavrittasu Avasthasu means all the avasthas are mutually exclusive. When I am dreaming, I can't be awake. When I'm awake, I can't be deeply sleeping. When I'm in sushupti or deep sleep, I can be neither dreaming nor can I be awake. Similarly, when I'm young, when I'm in the state of youth, when the body is the youth, then I cannot be in my old age. When the body is healthy, it cannot be in a state of roga. So, like this, all the conditions or the attributes of the body mind sense complex, the various states of existence, various states of the presence of body mind sense complex are changing. They are mutually exclusive. But what is common in and through all of them? It is what is called as the Atma or Sakshi Chaitanya. It is this Chaitanya Atma, the Sakshi Chaitanya Atma, that is one and the same in and through all the various mutually exclusive conditions of the body and the mutually exclusive states of the mind, whether it is Jagrat Avastha, Swapna Avastha, Sushupti Avastha, or different conditions of the body. So when I'm very healthy, then also it is the same I which I am experiencing. And when I'm ill also, it is the same I which I'm experiencing. So, Dehinosmin Yatha Dehe, when Lord Krishna said, it is the same I am which is experienced when I am a youth, when I am middle aged, when I'm old, or whatever it is. So, what he says is, Vyavrittasu Anuvartamanaha. What is this Anuvartamanam? That which is constantly there. Vyavrittasu avastasu anuvartamanam. That which is constantly there. That which is the consciousness behind every changing state of the body, mind, sense complex. And what is it? That is the experience. Aham, aham iti, aham asmi, I am iti, spurantam sada. Constantly I am aware of that. Maybe in deep sleep I don't feel it, but it is there, which I realize when I wake up that I was there, which we saw in the previous verse, Pratyabhijna, that there was nothing, that I was deeply asleep, that I was totally ignorant, I did not know what was happening, and now I'm the same person who has woken up refreshed and nice, feeling nice after a deep sleep of 8 hours or whatever it is. It is me, the same consciousness, which is called as Pratyabhijna. Now I can say what that I am when I was a 5-year-old is the same I am behind my when I was 15-year-old or 25-year-old or 45-year-old or now 65-year-old. It is the same I am. So the Atma Anubhava, Aham Asmi iti, that Anubhava does not change. It is the constant Atma Anubhava which is constantly experienced by me, irrespective of any changing state that the body, mind, sense complex goes through. And that is me. That is the real me. All the changing things in the body, mind, sense complex is nothing but attributes of me, what are called as upadhis, the ever changing upadhis. That is not me. Then who am I? Svatmanam prakati karoti bhajatam yo mudraya bhadraya. Bhadraya Mudraya, that auspicious mudra of Jnana Mudra or Chin Mudra, Svatmanam Prakati Karoti. I am that constantly experienced Ahamasmi iti Anubhavaha, and that Ahamasmi, that Atma, that Svatma is nothing but Brahman. Atma Brahman, that is that same thing which Shastra is talking about. This is what is Prakati Karoti, which is communicated by Lakshana Vritti and by showing this mudra called as the Chin Mudra. By whom, for whom? Bhajatam, those who have surrendered to you, the Guru, who is teaching me this knowledge, who is giving me this knowledge as to you are not different from what you are constantly experiencing. That ahamasmi anubhava, which is constantly there, that is you. That Chaitanya Atma is you. And all the else that is being experienced as changing outside is nothing but your attributes, changing upadhis. So Swatmanam Prakati Karoti Bhajatam Yo Mudraya Bhadraya Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. To this Guru Murti, to my Guru, who is pointing out to me, Swatmanam Prakati Karoti. The one who is pointing out to me my real Swarupam, telling me, look, you are not the changing body mind sense complex. You are not the changing avasthas of Jagrit, Swapna, Sushupta Jivas. You are that ahamasmi iti sada spurantam atma. Svatmanam prakati karoti bhajatam yo mudraya bhadraya. To that Guru Murti who is none other than the very manifestations of Adi Guru Dakshinamurti, Nama Idam, my namaskaras. So now, if I am that Svatma, which is constantly ahamasmi, it is Purantam Svatma ahamasmi, Tarhi, then why am I seeing the difference? Why do I see myself as a daughter of somebody, a mother of somebody, or a friend of somebody? Why do I see all that difference? Why do I see myself as the Shishya of somebody? See somebody as my Guru. What is the reason for that? That is given here in the 8th verse, which we'll read now. Vishwam pashyati karya karanataya swaswami sambandhatah शिष्याचार्यतया तथैव पितृपुत्राद्यात्मना भेदतः स्वप्ने जागृति वा य एष पुरुषः मायापरिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये. So let's see the third line first. Swapne jagrati va yayesha purushaha maya paribhramitaha. What is really happening to me, this Svatma ahamasmi iti sadaspurantam Svatma. What happens to that Atma? Why is it that Atma I am perceiving myself as the Jiva? What is the reason why I am losing the Brahma Bhava and falling into the Jiva Bhava? He says here, either in the Swapna Jagat or in the Jagrit Jagat, that means in the Jagrit Avastha or in the Swapna Avastha, Yesha Purushaha Maya Paribhramitaha. Because of Maya or Avidya, what is happening is I am identifying myself with the body mind sense complex, and I project the body mind sense complex upon me as myself. So from Brahman or Atma, I have descended to the level of Jiva. I have fallen from the Brahma Bhava to the Jiva Bhava. And why this is happening? Because of Maya. And we have already seen that transferring or projecting the attributes of the body, mind, sense complex onto me, the Atma, and the Swarupam of Atma projecting upon the Anitya body mind sense complex, we called it by the name Anyonya Tadatmyam. In Viveka Chudamani also we saw that Anyonya Tadatmyam. And that is natural because of the inborn avidya with which we are all, we possess that, we are born with that, which is called as the Mula Avidya. So once I have fallen down to the Jiva Bhava, once I consider myself to be a limited body mind sense complex, then I start seeing the bheda or difference between me and other jivas. I become an individual jiva restricted to this body mind sense complex, and all the other jivas become different from me. The whole world, the jagat becomes different from me. At every level, at every stage, I see only Bheda. And what kind of Bhedas do I see? He says, Vishwam Pashyati. This person who has descended from Brahma Bhava to Jiva Bhava, that is what, mistaking myself to be this limited body mind sense complex. Actually, I'm what? I'm the limitless existence. I'm the limitless consciousness. I'm the Sakshi Chaitanya Atma Sat Chit Rupa Atma. At the same time, because I have this tadatmyam or this identification with the body mind sense complex, I, this limitless Brahman Atma, I consider myself to be a limited Jiva. I am afflicted with a Jiva Bhava. Then how do I see the world? Vishwam Pashyati. I see the world as what? Only differences. Nothing other than differences. Everything is different from me. I don't see that common thread of Atma, common thread of consciousness in everything around me. I see only multiplicity. I see only duality. I consider the thousands and millions of names and forms in the Jagat as reality. I consider this body mind sense complex, which is constantly degenerating and constantly moving towards extinction. I take it as the reality. And in what different kinds of difference do I see? What all kinds of differences I see? Vishwam Pashyati. I see the whole world and myself with a lot of differences. What are they? Karya Karanataya. Karya Karana. I feel that I am the Karyam. This body mind sense complex is a Karyam. Of what? Of my Sanchita karmas. Yes, actually, no. I mean, the body is born because of the previous karma, yes. But then I, the Atma, is not born. I, the Atma, is not affected by any karma. But how do I perceive myself? Actually, I am the Karya Karana Vilakshana Atma. But then how do I see myself? I see myself as the Karyam and the Karanam is something else. Because of my Sanchita karma, Prarabdha karma, Phala, all these things, now I am born to so and so. These are my parents, these are my neighbors, these are my sisters and brothers. Actually, there is nothing, there is no relationship, is only because of the body. Whatever relationship is there with others, only because of the body. Because I am this body is born to a certain set of people, they become my parents. Because this body is born in a certain environment, all these people become my relatives. But really speaking, I am unrelated, Asanga Atma. The Asanga Atma becomes a Sasanga Jiva or a Samsari. And when Sangha happens, when there is Sasangatvam, then comes Samsara. So Vishwam Pashyati, who Jiva, this Jiva I, Vishwam Pashyati Karya Karanataya. I am the Karyam and something else is the Karanam. You are the Karyam, something else is the Karanam. Swaswami Sambandhataha. So if I am this body mind sense complex, I am the owner, I own something else. Something else, it may be people, it may be property, it may be things around me, it may be a part of the Jagat, a slice of the Jagat, whatever it is. Swami Sambandhataha. So there is something, I am the user, and something else is the used. I am the possessor, something else is possessed. So I become the possessor with a certain possessed thing. I start possessing everything. I think I'm possessing this body, I'm possessing this mind, I'm possessing this world around me, I'm possessing even people around me, I'm possessing the relatives, children around me. So Swaswami Sambandhataha. Then Shishya Acharya Taya Bheda also I find. I'm the Shishya and there is Acharya. It should be there in Vyavaharika Prapancha, otherwise learning is not possible. A guru is somebody who has come before me, who has got this knowledge. He knows how to convey this knowledge, Sampradayataya. Vyavaharikataya, Guru Shishya is there. That's what Dakshinamurti is also doing. He is a Guru and Sanakadi Rishis are Shishyas. There is no doubt about it. But in reality, what he's saying is, even the Acharya Shishya really is not there. This is showing that it is the very same consciousness that is behind the Shishya and the Acharya. It is only the Upadhi Bheda which is what is called as the Acharya and the Shishya. So this Bheda also comes. Shishyacharya Traya Tathaiva Pitruputradhyatmana Bhedataha. So, you know, the ancestors, the father, grandfather, and I, you know, their progeny, I'm the father, and then, my son, my daughter, that Bheda also comes. Ultimately, there is one consciousness in everything, but I start seeing the Bheda everywhere. I don't see that one thread of consciousness everywhere. I only start seeing the Bheda everywhere. And why do I see that? In Jagrita Avastha, I see that. In Swapna Avastha, also, I see that. I see the Bheda everywhere in the Jagrita Avastha. In the Swapna Avastha, also, I see only the Bheda. Of course, in Sushupti Avastha, there is nothing. There is total ignorance. There is no question of seeing any Bheda. But then, why is it that I'm seeing these differences? As to I am all Vedas, Jiva Jiva Veda, Jiva Jagat Veda, Jiva Ishvara Veda, all Vedas. Why do I see that? Maya Paribhramitaha. Because as a Jiva, as an individual Jiva, which I consider myself as, I'm completely influenced or I'm completely bhranta, deluded by this Maya. The Avarana Shakti of Maya, which covers my intellect as to what really I am, and with the Vikshepa Shakti, which projects something which is false. It projects the Anatma as reality, that which is false as reality. And I, the reality, is not seen or not understood by me. Though constantly ahamasmi, it is purantam atmanam, I'm all the time experiencing, still then because of Maya, even though I'm constantly experiencing it, I'm not aware that I am that Atma, I am that in reality because of Maya paribhramitaha, because of this bhranti of being influenced and deluded by Maya, I only start seeing the difference. And who is it that has removed this bhranti? Guru has not shown me the Atma. Guru has only told me, you are not the Anatma body, mind, sense complex. You are not the changing Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti avasthas. All these changes belong to the Anatma body mind sense complex. Who are you? You are the Sada Aham, it is Purantam Atma Sakshi Chaitanya Atma. You are that Sakshi, that Chaitanyam, which is the witness, which is the consciousness behind all these experiences. It is that very experiencer consciousness which is constantly there, which you are experiencing. But unfortunately, the influence of the anatma is so strong, that this constantly spurantam ahamasmi iti, that atma, that consciousness, that Chaitanya Sakshi is completely ignored. That is completely ignored. I don't see it at all. This is the effect of Maya. And who is it that is making me aware of this? Who is it that is making me aware of this particular condition of mine? That is not nobody other than my Guru, who is none other than Lord Dakshinamurti. So, the one who is telling me, the one who is making me see where I am wrong, the one who is telling me where you have lost yourself, to that Guru Murti, to that Dakshinamurti, this Guru Murti, who is none other than the very manifestation of Dakshinamurti, my namaskaras. So, what is said here is all of us have fallen from Atma Bhava to Jiva Bhava, from Brahma Bhava to Jiva Bhava. That is the mistake. That is the fundamental avidya. That is the fundamental problem of all the living beings, especially the human beings. The animals and plants will not even understand us, but we are capable of abstract thinking and understanding, and therefore the Shruti through the Guru takes all this trouble of telling me what I am not and what I am. And when I understand what I am not, what I am automatically reveals itself, it shines itself. Now, let us go to the ninth verse. The ninth verse, see, the Dhyana shlokas talked about Dakshinamurti in a particular form for Upasana. And we have already dealt with, the teaching of Vedanta called as Ekarupa Ishvara Bhakti, Vishwarupa Ishvara Bhakti, and Nirguna Ishvara or Brahma Arupa Ishvara Jnanam. We have already talked about that in Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter. So, in the Dhyana shlokas, when we described Lord Dakshinamurti's Chitram Vatatoror Mule, Vriddha Shishya Gurur Yuvaha, Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam, and all that, Hishaje Bhavaroginam, Pranavarthaya, Om Namo Pranavarthaya, Shuddha Jnana. Now, all these things, what we, gave as the Dhyana shloka namaskaras, it is an indication of Dakshinamurti Upasana as a personal God, as Ishta Devata, as Eka Rupa Ishvara Upasana. And the entire Dakshinamurti stotram, what we saw was Nirguna Brahma Vichara. Up till the fourth verse, we saw totally Nirguna Brahma Vichara. Tvam Padartha Vichara, Tat Padartha Vichara, Mahavakya Vichara, and then how Atma or this consciousness is that because of which the whole body mind sense complex is functional. And after that, also, we saw what is the reason why this particular confusion is there, why I am not able to see myself as that Atma. These are all Nirguna Brahma Vicharas, which is like, what Bhagwan Krishna explained in the 12th chapter as to the 5 stages of bhakti. The highest being understanding my Swarupam as the Sakshi Chaitanya Atma, what we call as Nirguna Ishvara Bhakti or Vichara. There is no Bhakti, it's a Vichara. Understanding that I am that Nirguna Atma or Brahman. So that we studied in this entire body of Dakshinamurti Stotra. Then what about the Vishwarupa Ishvara? Vishwarupa Dakshinamurti. That is what is going to be talked about in the ninth verse, where Lord Dakshinamurti is expressed as the entire universe. Like we say, Sarvam Brahmamayam Jagat, Sarvam Ishvaramayam Jagat, just like Bhagwan Krishna showed his Vishwarupa Darshanam in the 11th chapter. Here, Lord Dakshinamurti is expressed for Vishwarupa Upasana. To see Dakshinamurti as the entire manifest universe. And that is what describes this ninth verse. And what does Bhagwan Shankaracharya say here? He says, Bhuram bhasya nalo nilombara धूरम्भांस्य नलो नीलोम्बरम् अहर्नाथो हिमांशुः पुमान् इत्याभाति चरात्मकमिदं यस्यैव मूर्त्यष्टकम् नान्यत्किञ्चन विद्यते विमृशताम् यस्मात् परस्माद् विभोः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये. Here, Lord Dakshinamurti is expressed as the entire universe manifesting in the form of Ashtamurti, or in eight, the eightfold manifestation of Lord Dakshinamurti as this entire universe. The entire universe is nothing but the body of Sri Dakshinamurti, and manifesting Ashtadha in Ashtarupa in eight folded form, the whole universe is manifesting, which can be taken as Dakshinamurti Ashtamurti. So our Swamiji has taken a lot of interest and he has taken a number of classes on this Ashtamurti, Dakshinamurti as Ashtamurti. Ashtamurti means eight-folded manifestation of this entire universe as Dakshinamurti's manifestation itself. Therefore, what are these eight things? The whole universe is divided into eight aspects. And what Bhagwan Shankaracharya says is every one of these eight aspects is nothing but the manifestation of Dakshinamurti. And in the Dakshinamurti representation as pictures also, we'll find the very same thing expressed here. So, what are these eight manifestations, eightfold manifestations? Panchabhutas, the five elements from which the entire elemental Jagat comes. Panchabhutas, from which the Panchabhautika Jagat appears. So he says here, Bhuhu Ambhamsya Analaha Anilaha Ambaram. So Bhuhu means the earth principle, Prithvi. Ambhasaha means what? Ambhasi means ambhas, means this is nothing but water principle. Apaha. Okay. Then Analaha, that means it is the fire principle or the fire Panchabhuta, Agnihi. Anilaha, that means Vayuhu. Ambaram, Ambaram is the space. So Akasha, Vayuhu, Agnihi, Apaha, Prithivi. These are all the five basic Panchabhutas or the five elements. And the combination of these five in various forms appears to be the solid elemental Jagat. And what are these five elements? Five is talked about now. Then, what are the elementals representing here? Aharnathaha Himamshuhu. Aharnathaha means the sun. Himamshuhu means the cool rayed one, the moon. So the Aharnataha or Divakaraha or Surya and Himamshuhu Chandra represent the entire elemental Jagat, the elemental or Panchabhautika Prapancha. So the Panchabhutas, which are the cause, the Panchabhautika Prapancha, which is the effect. So there are seven, correct? Five Panchabhutas, two representing the Panchabhautika or elemental Jagat. So Akasha, Vayuhu, Agnihi, Apaha, Prithvi, the five elements. But here the order is opposite. In this, the order is opposite. Bhagwan Shankaracharya starts from the earth, the grossest, then goes to subtler Panchamahabhutas, Apaha, and then he goes to Agnihi, then goes to Anila Havayu, then he goes to Ambaram, that is, he goes to space in the opposite direction. That's Bhagwan's Acharya's way of expressing it. Then Aharnataha Suryaha, Himamshuhu Chandraha are representatives of what? The elementals, all the planets, the galaxies, or the different worlds, the 14 lokas, and whatever is the content of the 14 lokas, the Panchabhautika Prapancha is represented by the moon and the sun. Last is what? The eighth one, The conscious principle which perceives all of them, that is what is called as Puman, the conscious Jiva who perceives the five elements and the elemental Jagat. So, the seven non sentient principles and one sentient, awareing consciousness principle, Puman, the seer, the knower. The seven are the known, and the eighth one is the knower consciousness. So, in these eight forms, actually, the whole world can be divided into this eightfold manifestation. And Bhagwan Dakshinamurti is nothing but this eightfold manifestation. Therefore, Dakshinamurti is actually worshipped as Vishwarupa Ishvara in the form of Ashtamurti. That's why Ashtamurti Upasana is there as a part of Vishwarupa Ishvara Upasana. What we saw in Bhagavad Gita, that is Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshana. Here, Ashtamurti Upasana is also a type of Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshana, where I am seeing my Ishtadevata, Lord Dakshinamurti, in the eightfold manifest universe, the entire universe. So he says that Bhuram Bhansya Nalo Nilombaram Ahar Nato Himamshu Puman Ityabhati Iti Abhati. This whole universe is shining after. It is available to this Puman, to the knower. Characharatmakam idam. Chara and Achara. It is available as the moving Sthavara and Jangama universe in the form of sentient and non-sentient mixture of the universe. Yasyaiva murtyashtakam. Yasya eva Dakshinamurti's Ashta Murti Ashtakam. It is only Dakshinamurti Rupam itself is manifesting as this eightfold, as Ashtamurti. Dakshinamurti is manifesting in this eightfold forms of the universe. In the initial class, in the first session, when I talked about the pictorial and sculptural representation of Dakshinamurti, I have told you all these things as to which hand is holding what. You can go back to that and see what it is. It is also expressed, Dakshinamurti is expressed as Ashtamurti in many of the pictorial and sculptural representations. So, Ityabhati characharatmakamidam. Characharatmakamidam Jagat, this Jagat, which is Chara and Acharatmakam. That means that which is a sentient and non-sentient universe is what? Is nothing but the Ashtamurti Swarupa of Shri Dakshinamurti. So this verse talks about the Vishwarupa Dakshinamurti in the form of Ashtamurti Upasana. And then in the third line he says, Nanyat kinchana vidyate vimrishatam. When you really think of this whole universe, na anyat kinchana vidyate. Nothing else is there. This entire universe is nothing but the five elements, the two elementals, Panchabhautika Prapancha represented by two things, and the conscious Jiva who is aware of all of them. So, other than this, Vimrishatam, when you inquire, there is nothing else. Yasmat Parasmat Vibhoho. Nothing else other than these eight principles or manifestations of Dakshinamurti. Yasmat Parasmat Vibhoho. Other than the Ashtamurti Swarupam of Dakshinamurti, na anyat kinchit vidyate. Nothing else is there. Nothing else is there. Every Panchabhuta is Dakshinamurti Swarupa. Every elemental in this Jagat is Dakshinamurti Swarupa. Every Jiva who is perceiving these is nothing but the consciousness Swarupa of Shri Dakshinamurti. So, na anyat kinchana vidyate vimrishatam. However you try to inquire into this jagat and however much you try to divide this jagat into whatever, you can't see, you can't say anything else other than the manifestation of Ishvara as Dakshinamurti. This whole thing is nothing but Dakshinamurti Mayam Idam Jagat. Shivamayam Idam Jagat. That is Ishvara. Dakshinamurti is nothing but Ishvara Swarupa. And here the Ashtamurti Swarupam as the entire universe is being given by Bhagwan Shankaracharya here. And Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Dakshinamurtaye. To that Dakshinamurti, who is nothing but the Ashtamurti manifesting as the entire Jagat. To that Dakshinamurti, who is the Adhishtanam or the content of everything in this Jagat. That Dakshinamurti, who is the consciousness existence manifesting in the eightfold Jagat. To that Dakshinamurti, my namaskaras. And to my Guru Murti, who is capable of making me see the entire universe in the Ashtamurti form of Dakshinamurti, my namaskaras. Now, the last verse, the 10th verse, is the phalam of understanding this Dakshinamurti stotram. What is the phalam of understanding? Actually, the last two verses, probably were added later. So it's only the first 8. That's why it is even called Dakshinamurti Ashtakam. But then these two are added probably later. So by Bhagwan Shankaracharya himself or maybe later somebody else. So then we see the 10th verse, which is the phalam of this knowledge. What does he say? सर्वात्मत्वमिति स्फुटीकृतमिदं यस्मादमुष्मिंस्तवे तेनास्य श्रवणात् तदर्थमननात् ध्यानाच्च सङ्कीर्तनात् सर्वात्मत्वमहाविभूतिसहितं स्यादीश्वरत्वं स्वतः सिद्ध्येतत् पुनरष्टधा परिणतं चैश्वर्यमव्याहतम्. So what is the phalam? What he says is sarvatmatvam iti sphutikritam, where amush means stave, stava means stotra or a hymn, amush means stave. In this stava, in this stava or in this stotra, Dakshinamurti stotra, what is represented, what is revealed? Sarvatmatvam iti sphutikritam. Aham atma sarvatma. Sarvatma tattvam. That atma, that Brahman, which is the Sarvatma. Sarvatmatvam, the Atma Tattvam, which is everywhere in everything, Sarvatmatvam. Iti, this one is the Sarvatma, Sarvatma Tattvam. Sphutikritam, very clearly explained in this entire Yasmat Amushmin Sthave. Atma Tattvam, this consciousness, Ahamasmi as the Sarvatma, Sarvatma Tattvam, is what is revealed. Amushmin in this stotram stave. Tena asya shravanat, tadarthamananat, dhyanatcha sankirtanat. So what happens when this tava or when this stotra is listened to? Jnana Yoga is being talked about here. Since this is nothing but a Vedanta Prakarana Grantha, Tena Asya Shravanat, listening to this Guru Mukhena, this Prakarana Grantha is listened to. Shravanam is done. not once, repeatedly, consistent period of time, again and again and again. Every Upanishad you finish, you study Dakshinamurti stotram, the Upanishad truths become much more rooted in us. Again and again, Shravanat, Tadartha Mananat. Just listening is not sufficient. I mean, and listening just once is not enough. Dakshinamurti stotram is a really hard nut, needs to be listened to again and again and again. And just listening is not enough. Tadartha Mananat. I have to go on chewing the cud, go on inquiring into it again and again and again, by listening again and again, going through it again and again. Tadartha Mananat, then Dhyana, Nididhyasana, contemplating over it again and again and again. And then what? Sankirtanat. Once I have done enough of Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam, if I am confident, I have to share it with others. Share it. I need not become a guru. I can share what I know, provided I know it properly. If I am myself doubtful of it, then there is no point. I'll be causing more damage. So, when I share this with others after a consistent period of Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam, after years and years of Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, after having studied enough of Prakarana Granthas and Upanishads, after going through Prasthanatrayam sufficiently, when I am capable of sharing this knowledge which has become doubtless in me, if I am capable of sharing it, Sankirtanat, it means there are two things here. Sharing my knowledge with others, not a confused, if I'm confused, no, Shravana, with Sankirtanat, sharing it with others, it becomes an Nididhyasanam for me. Now, when I'm talking about Dakshinamurti stotram and sharing this with you people here, it becomes a Nididhyasanam for me. Why? Because I have to prepare for it. I have to listen to it again and again to my gurus. And if I have any doubts, I have to go through it again. I have to do Mananam, I have to do Nididhyasanam before I take any one of these sessions. Therefore, it becomes a repeated Nididhyasanam for me. Sankirtana. Okay, if it is not possible to share this knowledge, it doesn't matter. Let me just chant this Dakshinamurti stotram. Sankirtanat means just singing it or chanting it. It's such a beautiful stotra to chant, such a beautiful stotra to make Anvaya, breaking the words properly at the proper places, seeing how the Anvaya is done. Anvaya means how I can put it in the prose form and see the meaning of it. It is a beautiful exercise. Sankirtanat, I can chant it. I can use it for upasana. I can do Ekamurti, Eka Rupa Ishvara Upasana Dakshinamurti, asking for the blessings of Dakshinamurti. I can do upasana as Ashtamurti, Dakshinamurti upasana, Sankirtanacha. A mere chanting also will give me the grace of Lord Dakshinamurti to go into this deeply. So Shravanat, Mananat, what Mananat? Tadartha Mananat. Shravanat, after that, Tadartha Mananat, then Dhyanat, Nididhyasanat cha Sankirtanat. Sharing what I know, and also, if I have not understood it, even by listening for a longer period of time, it's okay. Let me at least chant it daily with the dhyana shlokas for getting the grace, anugraha of Lord Dakshinamurti, so that I enter into the text to know what it means, so that I may get the sanidhyam of a guru who will explain this to me, to gain this particular anugraham, at least grace, at least sankirtana, mere chanting it also gives me enough of punya. Then what is the ultimate phalam of the one who has gone through all these stages and understood actually the sarvatmatvam that is expressed or communicated in this सर्वात्मत्व महाविभूति सहितम स्याद ईश्वरत्वं स्वतः ईश्वरत्वं स्वतः I understand myself to be nothing but that Atma Swarupam. I abide in this Atma Swarupam. Sthita Prajnatvam or a Jnani Bhakta. That's what Bhagavan Krishna said. Then the phalam is what? Moksha, sthita prajna, mukti from this samsara. I may be alive. Mukti does not mean that the body, immediately falls dead. No. A jnani bhakta, a jnani, a buddha, a sthita prajna, a sthira prajna is the one who has understood this clearly and abiding in that Atma Swarupam, which is called as mukti or moksha. That is the highest phalam of this. Okay, if I have not understood this, but by Vishwamurti or Ashtamurti Ishvara Upasana or Ashtamurti Dakshinamurti Upasana, he says there is some other phala also. Jnanam, understanding this will give me that ultimate moksha phalam, which is my real goal now in this life. But if not that, then what other phala I can get? Siddhye tat punarashtadha parinatam chaishwaryam avyahatam. So, ashtadha parinatam cha aishwaryam or ashtadha parinatam aishwaryancha. This is explained in two ways. A person may get this ashtadha eightfold aishwaryam. Eightfold aishwaryam. What is the meaning of that? There are two ways in which it is explained. One is that a person may get the ashtasiddhis. Ashtasiddhis are what? Anima, Garima, Lagima, Mahima, Prakamya, Prapti, Ishitvam, all these are called as certain siddhis. Certain siddhis are there which are given for various types of upasana. So, Ashtadha Aishwaryam, Ashtadha Parinatam Aishwaryam. On one aspect, the phalam is this material phalam in the form of what? In the form of getting one of these or all the eight siddhis. So, this jnani, either I am a person may become a jnani, abiding in his Atmaswarupam, a Mukta Purusha, or a person may even get siddhis, one of the eight siddhis. Ashta, Ashtadha Parinatam Aishwaryam also means that a person may become one with the Ashtamurti Swarupam of Dakshinamurti. So the three phalas are given. Either I get these limited phalam, material phalam of Siddhi, or I get that oneness, Sarvatmatvam. I get that oneness with the Ashtamurti, Dakshinamurti by Ashtamurti Upasana. The ultimate final result is that I abide in this Dakshinamurti Swarupam, Atma Swarupam, which is none other than myself, and then I am free from all the dukkhas of samsara. So samsarat mokshaha. Moksha is living here and now, jivanneva, not after dying. After dying, whether I come back or not, whether videha mukti is there or not, why bother about that? I am videha now itself. I don't have a body mind sense complex, it is incidentally associated with me. I am the Panchakosha Vilakshana Avasthatraya Sakshi Shariratraya Vyatirikta Atma anyway. Now also I am Videha only. Then what am I waiting for Videha Mukti? Whether this body or this Jiva comes again or not, whether this Jiva is there or not after death, why should I bother about it? Jivan Neva Muktihi. Now, here, while living, I should be free from all this asangatvam. I abide in my asangatva nature. I abide in this Asanga Atma. I am nothing but this Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Asanga Atma. This is the ultimate result of understanding this Dakshinamurti stotram, which is nothing but the very crux or the very central teaching of all our Prasthana Traya literature or all our Prasthana Traya Granthas. What ultimately they say is this, and Bhagwan Shankaracharya has very beautifully condensed this entire thing in these 10 verses. A beautiful text, and I feel very grateful that our Swamiji, Satyojat Shankarashram Swamiji, gave me this opportunity to share all the Advaita stotras of Adi Shankaracharya, starting from Moksha Purushartha Nishchaya of Bhajagovindam to the ultimate truth of Sarvatma Bhava of Dakshinamurti stotram. Step by step by step by step, we started from Bhajagovindam to Dakshinamurti stotram. I am ever grateful to our Guru Parampara for this, and grateful to all the people who have worked behind the scenes to make this weekly sessions possible, especially Archana and Shanti. So I'm very grateful to them. And of course, we'll be starting something else. What I'll be starting, we'll just probably let you know a week before with the permission and with the instructions from our Swamiji. The next text, we'll see whatever they ask me to take, I will probably do that. Om Nandantu Sadhaka Sarve Vinashyantu Vidushakaha Avastha Shambhavi Mestu Prasannostu Guru Sada Sarve Bhavantu Sukinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkham Apnuyat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. That's it.